Good morning. It's Leanne Peters, Temple of Balance on Facebook and Temple of Balance on YouTube, and I'm here to pull some cards and share some guidance for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, that's the 18th, the 19th and the 20th of March 2024. So I trust that you are coming off or finishing up a great weekend, and that you've been receiving some new energy in, perhaps after you closed some doors or came to terms with something. The energy has been very intense, as many of us know, and I look forward to seeing what the new energies want to bring forward as we move towards the equinox. In fact, the equinox here at my time, I'm pretty sure, is on the 20th, and we're pretty much ahead of most of the world, so it would be the 19th, the 20th will roughly be the equinox. So equal days, equal day, equal night, and behind you the sun or the sky starting to change. The sun hasn't risen yet, but I'm not waiting because I'm a morning person, and so we're going to have probably more light streamings in the near future. So good, I've got someone watching. Excellent. So welcome everybody. I'm coming to you live now from Tasmania, Australia, where it is Monday the 18th of March and the time is 6:47 a.m. Hi Sam, welcome. I want to send out a big extra special welcome to my Temple of Balance patrons, my Pillar of Light members, and all of those of you who support my work through my website. Thank you so much for your support. Happy Sunday to you. For those of you who are new to watching, I am using my oracle cards that I created. They're not based on any tradition or anything like that. It's all just my intuition and what feels right or felt right at the time of creating. So we've got a combined, two decks combined, the Speed of Light Oracle in the black and the Animal Kingdom Oracle in the greeny bluey colour with the ladybug on the back. So we've got 110 cards here, and I'll be using this deck of cards to find the best cards that the majority of us need for Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday. I'm not pulling cards for individuals. This is general guidance for everyone. So I trust you've been led here for a reason, and I trust that something shared supports you at this time. So as always, please take on board what feels right, what resonates, and what fits into your life easily, and let the rest go. Good morning, everybody. Good morning, Make. And Laura is here. It's Sunday for you as well. Maybe I'm the only one up in Australia or New Zealand. Let me know. And I can't see, so I'm glad some of you are here, so that means it is working. So let's get started. I'm looking for the best card the majority of us need for Monday the 18th of March. So the best card for Monday the 18th of March is this. It's a Speed of Light Oracle, and we have the Wolf. That's funny, I was looking at the Wolf card just earlier. It's card 44. And it says instincts, moon, cycles, flow, and trust. So this is highlighting the cycles of things, and this is very appropriate as we move towards the equinox, and we're just a day or two out. So this is highlighting cycles. It's like the cycles of the moon, the cycles of the seasons, even the cycles of the day, although they're probably more common. But we go through all these different cycles within us and within our own life. We can look at cycles on a longer scale, you know, that may cycle through every 10, 15 or 20 years. Or we may even look at cycles that seem to come up every couple of years. Or even things that we have seasonally, things that we feel and things that we go through. So everything moves in cycles, and we're being encouraged to really trust that flow of cycles and the movement of cycles. And, you know, it's something, especially as I'm getting towards 50 now, I'm noticing, you know, the cycles of aging, as we all are aware of if we're fortunate enough to get past our 50s. or further, past our 60s, past our 70s, past our 80s, past our 90s. It's quite the feat, really, to be that, and that's why I like celebrating, like personally celebrating my birthday each year. I mean, there's a lot of people, and maybe it's a generational thing, perhaps. A lot of people like to just pretend their birthdays don't exist. But for me, I really like to dive into that transition for me because, well, for various reasons. But one of the big reasons is that cycle and realising and not taking for granted that I've lived another year because I think every year, I mean, I know people that have passed very young. And so even getting towards 50 or any age that we get to really is quite the gift. So if anything, we can celebrate that we're here another year when we reach our birthdays. So what cycles are playing out for you at the moment? What are you noticing's coming up that's perhaps come up before? Or maybe ask yourself, if you're feeling a certain way or going through a certain something, ask yourself, when did you feel like this before, or have you felt like this before? And if so, how did you handle it? How did you deal with it? You could also look at other people in your life who perhaps have been through something similar and think about how you observe them to cope with that, or maybe ask them for advice if they're still around. So cycles, we're also being encouraged to trust our instincts with this card, that our instincts are very, very strong. So let's trust our instincts and move with the cycles of things, especially on Monday. So that's that. Good morning. Hi, everybody. Hi, Mercer. Oh, thanks, Sam. Hi, Anita. And Misty is here as well. And it's Misty's birthday. Speaking of birthdays, happy rebirthday to you, Misty. Fantastic. So we're now looking for the best card for Tuesday, the 19th of March. So the best card for Tuesday is, let's go with this card. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card. And it's the Echidna, card 19 for the 19th. I love it when that happens. That's a synchronicity there. So card 19, it says, don't dwell on the details. And the dwell part is the important part here in this sentence. Don't dwell on the details, because the details are important. And sometimes the details are more important than other times. But this certainly is not saying don't concentrate on any details, because details are necessary with things that we go through in life. But this is not dwelling on the unnecessary details. You know, the distractions. We think that they're important, but actually when we stop and step back and we probably think about it for a little bit, we might realise that, hey, I don't really need to be focusing on this now. This is not important in the grand scheme of things. This is perhaps a distraction. And it's probably trying to take me off my path, you know, like a little shiny object over here that's catching our attention. So we're focusing on that. And sometimes when we focus on those sorts of things, we also get right down and deep into the details. You know, perfectionism's probably a bit of an example of this as well. You know, we can get so caught up in something having to be perfect that we're focusing on the unnecessary details. And sure, we want things to be of a certain standard, but do we need to have things exactly perfect and exactly right? I know that, like being an artist, you have a sense of an idea of how something, you might want something to look like, or you might not have any idea at all. And you've just got to sort of go with the flow of how things are forming. And I find that allows for the best outcome, because at least for me, I'm not fixated that I have to put a certain colour here or I have to do a certain thing this way. And then that just almost stiffens the whole artwork. And sometimes it doesn't even turn out that well. If I've got an expectation of perfection, then that perfection's not going to be met. So then it just leads to angst inside. So just be careful. Let's be careful on Tuesday that we're not being distracted, and we think that whatever it is, we might not call it a distraction, at least not to begin with. But whatever's calling us over here, this shiny object, it's like calling us away from our path, at least temporarily. So we might want to pay a sharp attention to where we're focusing, what we are wanting to do, so what we're wanting to focus on, what am I trying to say? Yeah, what are we trying to focus on? Where are we directing our attention, or what's directing our attention? And is this really that important in the grand scheme of things? Does it matter if the towels have to be folded the exact way? And, you know, that we are getting a bit anxious because a towel is not folded a certain way. I mean, that's just trivial. But, you know, there can be other things as well that we might be unnecessarily focusing on the detail. So let's just keep going. Let's just keep moving forward and see where our path takes us. Go with the flow a little bit more and release that sense of things having to be perfect, or that we're distracting ourselves from what is actually important to us. So that's for Tuesday. So let's now look for the best card for Wednesday, the 20th of March. So the best card for Wednesday, the 20th, that will be our equinox here in Australia, is, let's go with this card. It's another Animal Kingdom. Welcome everybody. And it's the shelter card, card 51, and it says seek safe shelter. So there is a sense of moving into our home, a room. It could be a car or a place in nature, somewhere where we feel is safe, our kind of shelter. It could be a place within if things are a bit up in the air at the moment in regards to our living situation. We might be exploring and trying to establish a sense of home inside ourselves or inside our heart. So wherever home kind of is at the moment, that would probably be where our shelter is. And a shelter is a place that protects us from the weather. It's a place where we feel safe. It's a place where we can mend and heal and recover, perhaps from our wounds or whatever we've got going on. Could be a place where we just replenish and recharge after a period of busyness or hecticness or lots of activity or stress. So it's a place to retreat to, and this is the energy for Wednesday. So we're being called into ourselves, into our shelter, into our home, into our sort of safe place where we can be ourselves. So it might be a quieter day in general on Wednesday for that sort of, whatever it is that we need. I mean, what do you need from that quiet time? What do you need from some downtime at the moment? Is it recharge? Is it recovery? Is it reassessing where you are in your life and thinking through and coming to terms with perhaps recent changes, or working out the next steps or the next path forward? So that kind of energy around for Wednesday. So it can be a good time to catch up on paperwork and things like that too that are necessary, that are hanging and hovering over us. It's a bit like, you know, tying up loose ends. If we've got some loose ends dangling around us, then maybe Wednesday's a good day to focus on something like that, to tie up and get ordered and organised so we can spend our energy thinking of other things and doing other things more important. So that's that. They're our cards. They're reasonably gentle, actually, these cards for the next few days. I'm interested to see what the theme card is in a minute. But before I pull the theme card, I want to thank you very, very much for joining me today. Please interact if you've enjoyed this video. If you're watching on Facebook, please hit the follow button. And if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the subscribe button. Speaking of YouTube, if you ever want a break from Facebook, or Facebook is hiding my videos and you haven't seen any for a while and you're back, or you think I'm back, I've never gone anywhere, then please subscribe to my channel on YouTube, Temple of Balance. So then if you have a break from Facebook, or Facebook's not showing you things, or you just like to connect in a different place, then Temple of Balance on YouTube. If you'd prefer to connect more privately and let me know how these videos support you or whatever you want to share, then please you can message me through my website at templeofbalance.com.au. So we've got a few things happening at the moment. So last week I released another batch of ceramics. So I've got some new, I've got some new porcelain earrings. I've got one set left, nice little bell-shaped ones actually. And I've got a couple of the porcelain beaded necklaces that I was wearing in the last video. I've got some of those available now. Also some of my grandmother collection, some flower pots and vases and bud vases, and some other bigger things like my tree man, my journeyman, and things like that. So please have a look on my ceramics website if you'd like to learn more about those things. If you'd like to learn more about my cards I've used today, you can find those on my Temple of Balance website. Also, I've just released my next 12-hour healing event, which is coming up on the 8th of April, which for memory I think is a Monday. And our theme is creativity shadow. So we're going to be looking at our potentials. You don't have to be an artist or even that creative to get something out of the creativity shadow. So we're going to be looking at our potentials and what's clouded or holding back within our own potential. And I'm going to be diving into that theme for 12 hours straight, which means we get a lot shifted and moved. So if you'd like to join me for some dedication on the day or afterwards, you can join me on the day as I do it, or later, it doesn't matter. Then you can find out more about that too on my website and everything that I do at Temple of Balance at templeofbalance.com.au. And thank you so much for your support. So I am now looking for the best card for the theme. The theme card will help bring these days together and help us see the bigger picture for Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So what is our theme? What is the bigger picture for these days? How can we bring these days together? So the best card for the theme for the majority of us for the 18th, 19th and 20th of March 2024 is this. Yes, Deb, your drawing hopefully will be coming today because you're second on my list at the moment. It's an Animal Kingdom Oracle card. And it's the cockatoo, so it's nice. I feel like it's not going to probably be too intense these next couple of days. So we've got the cockatoo, card 47, for our theme. And it says, be compromising. So this is about finding a compromise. There might be, we might need to try and get on the same page as another person. Find a solution or a pact or an something where we are, both parties are feeling that a compromise has been reached. So we might, sometimes this card comes up when we need to look at, or it's helpful to look at, how much we're pushing against ourselves. And this is probably sort of the opposite of finding a compromise, is what are we pushing against? What are we trying to push? What are we trying to control? What do we have to win with, for example? And this could be something quite personal that we're battling with ourselves. So it could be our head fighting with our heart. Why? Why is it fighting? Why is it at conflict? Why is it disagreeing here? What's this disagreement? And how can we sit with that and maybe, with that shelter energy as well, and even that, the echidna, not dwelling on the unnecessary details, but how can we sit with that and figure out how to find a common ground here, how to find a solution to the problem. So that's probably what it really is too, isn't it? Maybe the problematic parts of our life that are playing out at the moment in relationships with ourselves, with others, or in life, with life in general. How can we find a solution? A solution to the problem? How can we find that compromise? And that's how I see this, as like two energies that are sort of battling. So there's probably a conflict or a discord that's playing out. So how can we put the weapons down, especially if we're fighting with ourselves, which is weird, but it happens. How can we put the weapons down and maybe have a conversation? Now, maybe we're open to a conversation and another person involved isn't. So maybe part of that compromise is to just accept that. You know, we're not going to get on with everybody. There's going to be people that we get on really, really well with, others we get on okay with, and others we just don't get on well with, that we just don't resonate with. Does that matter? Do we need to dwell on that conflict? Do we need to dwell on that discord? Or can we find, is it time to find an acceptance, a peace with this particular situation, especially if it's been ongoing and it's been going on for some time? So we might need to be vocal, but this, you know, we might need to be vocal with ourselves, you know, come to the conclusion ourselves, especially if it's with someone that we just can't interact with, especially if it's with a solution that we're not really dealing with now, but it still eats us up inside, or if we're having a battle that's personal and inner, that's playing out, then we might need to communicate with ourselves and really come to some conclusion that feels right, that settles this for us, that is that compromise, but is some type of settlement, you know, where things are settled. So what is that unrest for you? What is that conflict? And how can you find that settlement? How can you let things settle? How can you compromise? So there might need to be some communication that's spoken, at least to ourselves, if not to others, because there is a communication, a vocal element to this card, and there is a social element to this card too. So it may be something that is involving another person that's perhaps playing out. So are you being too vocal? Are you voicing your opinion too much? Is another person doing that? Is there something that is problematic that you need to find peace, compromise, settlement with, so that you can move forward and keep going with your life without this being in the background as a tension? So that's that. See how it fits for you. Please come back, connect with the video over the next couple of days, and have a fantastic few days. I'm about to share our Patreon videos, which are the private support video for patrons that pledge $5 or more for March. And I'm also about to do the personal video. So each month, for those that pledge at $105 for the month, I do also a personal, like motivational, inspirational video just for you. So I'm going to do those now too. So if you want to learn more about those, please have a look at my Patreon. That's Temple of Balance on patreon.com. Thanks so much. Have a great day, a great couple of days, and I'll see you soon.